Hey guys, how's it going? So the new Ikoria spoilers just came out today. It's not April Fool's, so I know that these Godzilla cards are real. There's a bunch of new commanders, so I figured I would just hop right into it, talk about some of what I think might be viable, what I think is kind of a waste, and the card that is already pre-banned in Commander before it even is printed. It got announced and was banned within like minutes. So yeah, let's just hop right into the legendary creatures, and I'm just gonna talk about like what I would be doing with them. So the first one is Vadrock, the Apex of Thunder. Alright, that's a cool card. So it's a 3/3 for 3, flying and first strike, and then it has Mutate for 4. So Mutate is a cool new ability. It's kind of like, what was that one where like you can cast the creature as an enchantment? It's kind of like that. You cast it for the mutate cost, put it on a non-human creature, and then mutate it into like a mix of the two creatures, I think. So let's say they mutate into the creature on top, plus all abilities from under it. Yeah, so it'll become, whatever you mutate becomes this 3/3, as far as I understand. Becomes this 3/3, and then maintains its previous abilities. And then if you mutate it rather than cast it, you cast target non-creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard for free. So it's graveyard interaction. It says non-creature. Okay, so yeah, like it's got the Jeskai non-creature thing going on. So this build, I would do like small artifacts that sacrifice for things. So I'm talking Mind Stone, Commander's Sphere, cards like that, and then obviously instants and sorceries. One thing I'm thinking would be fun with this is, and I believe this card is 3 mana. Show and Tell, right? Let me make sure. Yeah, probably should. Alright, Show and Tell is 3 mana, right? Okay. Here's my idea. Use this as our commander. Get Show and Tell into the graveyard, and then fill the deck with huge artifacts and creatures and crap. Well, then again, those would go against him. I don't know. So he seems fun. Small instants and sorceries, small artifacts that I would sacrifice to do things. Yeah, I don't know. He seems kind of weird, but I feel like there could be some show and tell trick with him. That'd be really funny. But alright, on to Godzilla, the King of Monsters, who is actually Zortha, the Strength Incarnate, I guess. So he's like reverse Doron is kind of how I see him. So he makes it so that your creatures take damage through their power rather than through their toughness. I just don't see how this is going to be useful. Honestly, I don't think there are too many cards that will make use of this, which is disappointing because I like Godzilla. But this is a stupid card. The card's dumb. Okay, on to the Companion. So Companion is, I guess, a new zone or something, and it seems like you have to restrict your deck to have companions. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of big changes like this, but whatever, they're doing it. So it makes it so when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card with each other permanent you control with converted mana cost 3 or greater, and your starting deck can only contain cards with converted mana cost 3 or later unless they're lands. The first thing I thought when I saw this was it is like the opposite of that blue-green commander Azuri, where he like wants small creatures. This is like big stuff only. So I guess you'd have to do like all the 3 mana rocks. I don't know. I think this card's bad. I don't think this card's even like, and commander. It's not even sort of viable because commander is all about small mana rocks and going quick. Just not a fan. Not a fan at all. Luna, the Apex of Wishes. That's hard to read. So, it's a 6/6 for 5 mana. It's Teamer Commander. It's got Mutate. So you're almost going to always be casting these guys for their Mutate cost, it looks like. Whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card, and then put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand. So, it's like a polymorph commander. Sort of. What I would do, it says until you reveal a non-land permanent card. Okay. You could run green, so it's green, red, and blue. I would try and run those red instants that make creatures for you. There's probably some green instants that'll make like plants or fungus or something. and then blue instants that could like count like a swan song kind of stuff, and try and find a way to put a creature into play without having any permanents in the deck other than Blightsteel Colossus. And run this as a Blightsteel Colossus commander deck. Have instant and sorcery based green ramp that will get you mana out faster, so you can cast a Luna faster, and then just put Blightsteel Colossus in the deck. No other permanents. Why is it Teamer? This is weird. I don't know. Yeah, that's how I would run it. I would have Blightsteel Colossus be the only permanent in the deck, and then try and use instants or sorceries to get a creature into play, or instants and sorceries that take your opponent's creatures, and then just try and mutate whatever creature you somehow get out into a Luna, and then a Luna will go get your Blightsteel. What else do we have for commanders? There's another companion. Like a mill companion. Your deck contains only cards with even converted mana cost. So that's the downside of this one. So as far as I understand, here's my understanding of companion, is you add this to like the companion zone, which will be similar to the command zone, and then your deck has to follow like some qualification thing to keep it in there. And they're usually strong. I don't know how like color identity works with these things, if you add it to a deck and it adds to your color identities you can use or what. But, so it enters the battlefield and it mills each player for 4, and then you put a creature with even converted mana cost from those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Okay. Well, I can't think of any immediate synergies with this. Vass's Oracle's even, and this is kind of self-milly, so I could see something working with that, but, like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the companions. But I would probably run this as either... You can't even combine it with Phoenix, because Phoenix is odd. Some sort of mill-based strategy, obviously, because it's mill. I know I'm not providing anything here. But, I don't know. He's cool. I think out of all the companions, he's the one I like the most that wasn't banned within minutes of release, which is the next one we'll be getting into. The Spell Chaser. So this is an Elemental Otter, which is really cool. So the reason this commander, or this companion, is already banned is because he gives each non-land card in your starting deck, they have to have a different name. That's his downside. So in Commander, obviously, unless you're running Relentless Rats or the Petitioners or something along those lines, this card is not a downside. And it is red and blue, so I believe, as long as I'm right about how companions work, that it would just add red and blue to the color identities you can use. And it's a 3/2 with flash that copies an instant or sorcery when it comes into play. So like this would literally be an auto include in every single deck. Like every single deck, even if you only want to like splash a few blue cards in, because it would just give you the ability to do that without changing the deck at all. So I understand why it's banned if my understanding of companion is correct. So yeah, alright. Don't need to talk about it because we can't run it. And then these are like the Godzilla versions of cards. Yeah, so that's just Yardock, whatever his name is. Okay, so far, can't say I'm a huge fan of any of these. I kind of like Vadrock, but I don't know. They're all kind of bad. Alright, so I got some pictures on Facebook of some of the commanders for the Precon commander set. I couldn't find them on any of the spoiler websites, so we're going to be looking through my Facebook. So this is Cathro the Aspect Warper. So immediately I see this as just like a card I would put in a deck, not a commander. When it enters the battlefield, you put a flying counter on a creature you control if a creature card in your graveyard has flying, and then you do the same for first strike, double strike, death touch, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, and vigilance. So it's like a weird version of Audric, the one that gives all your commanders gives all your creatures all the keywords. So I don't know. It just seems kind of bad. Like, you gotta fill your graveyard with all this stuff. It seems wicked complicated. You gotta go and find all these different creatures and throw them in your graveyard. And then you also have to have a lot of creatures in play to make it worth using, because you put a +1/+1 counter on him for each counter put on a creature this way. So actually, I guess you could put them all on one creature. I don't know. He just seems okay. Kalamax the Stormsire. So I already looked at this one. This one I really like. Whenever you cast your first instant spell each turn, if Calamax is tapped, copy the spell and then choose new targets for the copy. And then when you copy an instant spell, you put +1/+1 counter on. So he's gonna make your cards like Flusterstorm and all of those counter target spell unless he's gonna turn them into counter spells, really. Double them. I would leave him tapped all the time. Like, use one of those enchantments that, you know, it's like tap target creature, doesn't untap during its owner's untap step. Like, perfect. Just leave it. Leave it tapped. A bunch of counter spells to slow them down while you build him up, and then find a way to remove the enchantment from him that keeps him tapped, and then just like swing, make him big. He'd be good with Riku the whatever of the Twin Reflections, because you can copy instants and sorceries with him. I don't like that he says instant. I wish it was instant or sorcery, because like then he'd be a really fun turns commander. Because you could, I don't know, swing with him and then do an extra turn. He'd be tapped, so it would double it, and like it'd be really cool. But it's just instants. So yeah, I'd run him heavy counter spells. Obviously stuff like Hardened Scales and Peer the Imaginative Rascal to make it so he builds up faster, and try to win with commander damage after stopping. We'll run red removal, green land search, and blue counters, and just like load it up with instants and sorceries. Maybe have him be the commander of that other teamer instant and sorcery based deck. I don't know. He's weird. I like him better than all the other ones so far, but he's still just because he doesn't say sorcery on him makes him a lot weaker in my eyes. Otrimi, the Ever Playful. So this is another mutate commander. Costs 4 to mutate it onto a non-human, and it combines with it or whatever. And then whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, return target creature card with mutate from your graveyard to your hand. So another weird soul tie something matters commander. We just had Kadena with the morphs, and now we have Otrimi, the Ever Playful, with the mutate. This seems good. It seems interesting. I'm curious if they're going to have like an enchantment that gives all creatures in your graveyard like mutate, and you can cast them from your graveyard or something. Because that would go really cool with this, and it would be like really thematically awesome to see like you mutate something into like a Grave Titan from your graveyard for a certain amount of mana. But I don't know. That's me thinking way out there. This one's interesting, but again, mutate's like brand new, so making a whole commander deck based off mutate, like at least morphs had like a few sets to work with. Mutate is one set, so you're not going to have anything to add to this deck other than staples. So, yeah, I don't know. Jarina Kudrow. Alright, enters the battlefield. You get a 1/1 white human soldier for each time you've cast a commander from the command. See, this is interesting. A commander, not your commander. A commander from the command zone. She doesn't have partner. So, like, something's going on. Something weird is going on here. And she gives your other humans +2/+0. That part's not as important. What I'm concerned about is for each time you've cast a commander from the command zone. What does that mean? Because most of them say your commander. All those anthems say your commander. This says a commander, which is, to me, implying great change. Not great as in good, but great as in big. And I think this is the last of the pre-con commanders. Gavi the Nest Warden, because, you know, we didn't just have a breeder in literally the last set of commander decks. Literally the last one had Atla Palani the Nest Tender, and now we have Gavi the Nest Warden. Whenever you may pay 0 rather than pay the cycling cost of the first card you cycle each turn. Okay, I'm cool with a cycling commander, because there's like Cycle Zur, but everyone hates playing against it. This is at least a way to make cycling like fun, I guess. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 red and white dinosaur cat creature token. I think this one's cool. I don't think it's like competitive or anything, but like, I don't know, cycling and cat dinosaurs, like, I'm not gonna build it, but it's cool. I think it's funny. How would I build this? Well, I think this one is kind of obvious how I would build it. Cycling, lots of cards of cycling. And I would run cards that, there are other cards that say, like, whenever you draw your second card each turn, do this. They came out, I know some of them came out in Throne of Eldraine. So definitely run those. But, I don't know, all these commanders are kind of weak. I think it's because they're designed, I think they might still be trying to push Brawl, I don't know. But, I don't know, these commanders are kind of weak. There's that Hippo. I think this one and Calamax have the best like potential to be playable. I'm not saying they do have the potential to be playable, but I think they have the best potential too. But Calmax just seems like he'd be good in a Riku deck. Like, not as a commander. That's the problem, is that these guys, like... He seems like an include in Corridor. He seems like an include in Riku. This doesn't. And that's not gonna go in anything other than, like, human tribal Morphon. And this... People will make decks out of this. I think this one is gonna be the one, like, kind of the fan favorite. Because it seems like that other commander that it came with was cool, too. I'm assuming that the deck comes with that one that, you know, you cast a non-creature from your graveyard. Oh, okay, I see. So you cycle the cool cards into your graveyard with her, and you mutate something. You mutate one of the cat dinosaurs into that first commander, and then it's going to return something you cycled to play. That's kind of interesting. Okay. I don't mind that. I think that's cool. I think that's very cool. Yeah, this one's probably... I will probably do a Dexplanation video for her, because this one seems interesting. At first I thought Calamax was going to be my favorite, but now that I realize he doesn't do anything with sorceries, I'm not a fan of him. But I think she's going to be cool because it's going to be Jeskai Graveyard, which I know he just got Jeskai Graveyard, but nobody liked that commander. So, yeah, alright, I guess that kind of wraps up the... well, I'll look at the Planeswalkers too, I might as well. So here we have Joe Exotic. No, I'm kidding. This is that. So Luca Coppercoat Outcast. He exiles 3 cards of your library. Creature cards exiled this way, and you may cast it from exile as long as you... Okay, so I like how that doesn't say till end of turn. Because, like, I know there's a Chandra, there's a bunch of Chandras that, you know, you can play cards off top of your library till end of turn and they disappear. I like how it says that. Is -2, exiles a creature you control, and reveal cards from top of your library until you reveal a creature with higher converted mana cost and put it onto the battlefield. So this is another, like, polymorph kind of deal. Okay. Alright. Each creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Alright. I like this. I think he's cool. I wish that he could be a commander. I want more Planeswalker commanders. But he's cool. He'll be fun in, like, a teamer creature build deck, or even just, like... I know Rurik Thar doesn't want to have things that aren't creatures, but he'd be really cool in Rurik Thar if you got him out before Rurik Thar came into play. There's the same guy. And this is the Vivian Monsters Advocate. Monsters Advocate. So hold on. We have Joe Exotic out here with his tiger, and then we have the animal rights activist. This is awesome. Okay. So you look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Cool. Okay, so she's like almost like the opposite of Elsha? Yeah, alright, so Elsha of the Infinite was that one that made it so you can cast non-creatures off top of your library. She is literally only creatures. I love that. +1 gives you a 3/3 green beast with either a vigilance counter, a reach counter, or a trample counter. I'm interested in these counters. I'm hoping there's a way to move them around, specifically at instant speed, because you know how cool it would be to attack with like 5 creatures and then one gets through and you're like, okay, so the ones that got blocked, I'm gonna move my death touch counters on them. Like, that'd be cool. So that's the +1. -2 is you cast your next creature spell this turn, search your library for a creature card with lesser converted mana cost and put it onto the battlefield. Oh my god. Wow, I like this a lot. Okay. It looks like it's an auto include in green, like stomp decks, like a Galta or a Gargos, even Omnath, Selvala, like any really creature-based deck. This is gonna love. That -2 is sweet. +1 is kind of but the passive ability and the -2 are sweet. I don't know if she's worth 5 mana, because you can only use that -2 once, at least at first. She's good. She's good. She's one of my favorite cards I've seen so far today. And then this is just a comparison of all the different versions of the cards. So yeah, this is that one that I was talking about. That would be good in Gleemat or Calamax, whatever. So they got the Godzilla version, the Showcase version, and the Standard version. Just in case you didn't like 2 of them. Yeah, I think the Godzilla cards are cool. I know a lot of people don't like them because they ruin the immersion or whatever, but like, I don't know, look at Magic's history. We got a bunch of weird cards that ruin immersion. like it was very popular in competitive Magic to use Jaces as kill spells for Jaces. So like I think immersion is something we can just kind of overlook. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the whole set, like in general. I think the last time they came out with Precon Commanders, I bought all 4 of them before they even came out. I think I'm maybe gonna get the cycling one, and maybe get this and just replace him with Riku. I don't know. I'm hoping the companions don't break Commander, because I mean, like I said, they already banned this one. Rightfully so. It should have been banned. I'm hoping the companions don't break Commander, but we'll see how things go. So, yeah. Until next time.